at the Aflac Cancer Center that is one of the most unusual you will ever have. I have with me Michael and June and Michael's brother Philip. And Michael and June, tell me how you first became involved with our Care-A-Thon. How many years ago?
This is our 5th year being a matching sponsor for the Care-A-Thon. And basically, I've listened to WSB my whole life. And so I was going down the highway driving home and hearing the Care-A-Thon and the stories, and just really touched. And we had children of our own, and they were perfectly healthy. And so we just talked to my brother Philip, and just felt that as a company that it was the right thing to do to support.
And what is the company that y'all own?
DoMyOwnPestControl.com.
Okay, and you were all in on this?
Definitely, yeah. We've contributed personally. We've been long listeners of WSB since we were kids, and so yeah, I was definitely 100% for it, and it's been a great cause, to contribute over the years.
So you 5 years ago, the three of you got together and did what?
So we got in touch with the CHOA Foundation and decided to do a matching hour. And the first year, we actually didn't even come in here to really be on the radio like some of the matching sponsors. We just wanted to make sure that we gave, and we just thought it was the right thing to do. And so we did that for 2 years. And then in June of 2014, before the 2014 Care-A-Thon, we met with CHOA to go over the Care-A-Thon that year. And the day after we met, they actually asked us, why are you guys giving? Usually there's a tie to childhood cancer when you want to give to the Aflac Center. And so we said that we just thought it was the right thing to do. Our kids are perfectly healthy. They never had broken bones, never had stitches. And so the very next day, though, our son Grant, who was 2 at the time, was diagnosed with neuroblastoma.
You know, that's like the most bizarre, incredible, amazing story you share, that here you, just out of the generous hearts the three of you have, that you were challenging other fellow Atlantans to help out, to help families, to help children, and little did you know this would strike your own family. Wow. So this was June 2014.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to hear about what happened next right after we hear traffic. What's going on with the traffic right now, Doug?
Hey, thank you so much, Clark. 512 WSB. And let's tell you real quick, the perimeter 285 west and south, for the most part, the average outer loop delays for 400 over to 75 takes 17 minutes. It's about 20 minutes to go for 75 down to I-20 on the west side. I saw this interloop trouble. I think it's still there on the second right lane, 285 eastbound at Riverside Drive, with more delays filling in 285 east and south. Chamblee Dunwoody trying to flip around to Memorial Drive. Looks like some new trouble, 285 northbound, the outer loop at Memorial Drive. And we have reports of road damage due Dallas Highway eastbound and due west, blocking the lane. Eric, Clark.
You're so used to being Eric. No, it's Clark. So, if you're just tuning in, we're talking with Michael, June, and Philip, and your nephew, Philip, and Michael and June, your son, Grant, 2 years ago, diagnosed, and you'd already been involved here, and suddenly you're involved in a whole different way with a child fighting cancer. What happened from that point?
Well, supporting the Aflac Cancer Center, you never think or assume that you're going to need that kind of care. And so when Grant was diagnosed, it was really surreal to actually be in the shoes of the kids that we have heard and listened to for those previous years. So we were thrown into the world of childhood cancer, and then over the 2 years of Grant's treatment, really started to realize just what these kids go through, and the kind of fight that they have to have, and the kind of determination they have to beat this. And these kids just want to play, but they have to be in a hospital and take chemo and do all these things that kids just shouldn't have to go through.
And so here you are wearing your shirts. Will you describe the shirts to people, June?
We came up very quickly when Grant was diagnosed, about a day after we were in the hospital. We decided we needed to gather the troops and decided we'd do Grace for Grant was our motto. One step at a time, one prayer at a time is how we would take this journey. So our shirts have a sun on them, and in that sun it says Grace for Grant. My sister-in-law, Philip's wife, Shelley, actually was just, when you hear someone has cancer, it kind of devastates you, and sometimes you don't know what to do. So she sat with watercolors and painted that the first week he was diagnosed, and we loved it, and that became our motto, our go-to, our symbol. And so we still proudly wear it today and bear it for the cause.
And speaking of the cause, Grant did not make it.
That's correct. We battled hard for 2 years, and unfortunately, this past March, a couple months ago, Grant lost his battle, and but he fought hard the whole way, and so we're not going to stop fighting for him on his behalf and these other children here. And it's just very important. I would like people to realize that some of the money they give to the Aflac Cancer Centers goes to research, and that's really what we need for these kids, is better treatments with fewer side effects, and that's what we will continue to fight for.
So you are rededicating yourselves, in spite of the loss of Grant, for a cure for the cancer that struck him, for the cancers that strike other kids, and you're still at the table with challenge money?
Absolutely.
You know that's amazing, don't you?
I don't really think so. I really don't know any other way or anything else to do but just to keep fighting. And if people listening have seen what we've seen over the last 2 years, not just with Grant, but the other children here fighting and what they have to go through, we know too much, and we're not going to sit by.
So what are you doing, June?
We are right now raising funds for these children. The treatments that so many of these kids, it's the effects of the treatments that end up getting them before the cancer sometimes will even take them, even with a case where you don't have the odds in your favor. The treatments have been around for a long time, and with so many of these cancers, the future is in individualized immunotherapy care, because with each of the child, even though there might have been 3 or 4 neuroblastoma kids on here today, everybody's cancer reacts differently within each child. And part of what Aflac has started and that we have helped fund through this Care-A-Thon before is setting up a repository so that these doctors, when these kids get diagnosed, can take that tumor that's in that specific child and be able to grow that and test that tumor and see, because these drugs don't react the same with every child. And that's the game that these doctors have to play, is trying to do this for these, not only for all the kids that have leukemia or all the kids that have a solid tumor, but within each individualized case. And so for us, we have friends that are still in this fight, and we don't want to see more kids be diagnosed. It's not rare. You think, oh, cancer is so rare, but until it happens to you. And then suddenly a lot of times your eyes are open and you see how many kids out there really are diagnosed with this and that need this help.
And so what you're doing that is putting your money where your mouth is, you're putting a challenge on the table to our listeners right now.
That's right. Do My Own Pest Control is putting $25,000 on the table for a match.
So if you call now at 888-750-2772, your money will be double. But wait, there's more, isn't there?
Yes.
Your money will actually be triple. Because I talked to my wife just before we came back to come on the air, and she said that she wants us to match your $25,000 for dollar.
Wow. That's
incredible.
Great.
Thank you.
So we got a triple. I did call her. Pete thinks I'm lying. No, I called White. I was not going to do that without asking her, because I don't want to be in trouble later. And she said, absolutely. Our son is named Grant. Your son that you lost, named Grant. So in honor of our 2 Grants, $1 from you, $1 from me, but you only get to spend our money if you call right now, 888-750-2772. That's 750-2772, because we want all the grants, if they get a bad diagnosis, to survive. We want the treatments to be treatments that they can handle. And I cannot tell you, Michael and June, how phenomenal the two of you are, and you get an honorable mention, Philip, for in the heartbreaking loss that you have suffered losing that sweet child Grant, that you could be consumed by bitterness. You could be consumed with hatred. I mean, you could be consumed with so many negative thoughts, and instead, what I see in your eyes is I see determination.
Absolutely.
Where does that strength come from? What is it that spoke to the two of you that you want to take the chapter of what happened with Grant and write a new great chapter for other kids?
I think it's seeing the good out of a bad situation. And I think that's how you survive each day with this. And if you can make the life better for someone else and them not have to walk the shoes that you've walked in, then you want to do that for them. You want to solve that for them.
So I just salute you. And for me to be able to be part of this challenge match with you is really a privilege for me. So thank you so much for us being able to partner together on this. So we got to make sure people spend our money, right?
That's right.
Absolutely.